Our next panel will be about the opportunities in Southeast Europe. So, I would like your biggest applause for Mr. Borja Aznar-Bonilla, MD in Plug and Play, with our own Miledis Tubu, Regional Director at Microsoft. Your big applause, please.
I have to say, what a venue, what an audience, what an amazing moment for Athens and for Greece and for Southeast Europe to have Panathēnea Festival revived. I am Miledis Tubu. I lead partnerships with startups across Central Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa for Microsoft. We build global partnerships with innovators from this region. And I have the pleasure and honor to host today in a fireside chat Borja Aznar-Bonilla. I hope my Spanish was good.
Thank
Borja.
you.
He's the managing director of Plug and Play, coming to Panathēnea today out of Valencia. Welcome, Borja, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Good morning to everyone, and congratulations to the organizing committee for this great event. We're very excited to be here. Indeed, my name is Borja Aznar. I'm based in Spain, and I oversee our operations across the Mediterranean arc, mainly. And I'll tell you in a minute what we do and why we're here through the questions or conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Borja, and looking forward. Let's start first of all with Plug and Play, just to make it concrete for our audience. I'm not sure everyone knows who Plug and Play is and what you guys do. You have a remarkable global footprint. Tell us a bit about your operations, your global operations, and what you learned in US, where you started, and that you are bringing now to Europe.
Sure. Thanks again. We are a family-owned VC firm, one of the largest in terms of market expansion. So we have 67 offices in 27 countries presently today. We're working very actively to hopefully have a program here in Greece soon. So basically, we can summarize, we do 4 things. We are, as I mentioned, a VC firm. Our sweet spot is investing in early phase startups, so pre-seed and seed. Our average check is $125,000. Agnostic, we work across every single industry. And what differs us, let's say, from any other VC in the world, it's a couple of things. It's the first one, we work with a club, let's call it, of over 600 multinationals that rely on us to search the right startups for them and then do pilots together. When we get several corporates or government agencies all together, we build the so-called accelerator programs. We do 106 accelerator programs globally every single year with governments, tech institutions, academia, research centers, corporates, or you name it. We build these programs, and sometimes we build investment vehicles attached to them, so that's kind of quite ideal. Last but not least, since I just mentioned the investment vehicles, we also have the capacity, we're fully legalized to raise capital by the Spanish SEC in the European territory and the States. But just frankly speaking, we're an American company and with family roots, which still stick in the company despite the growth. And as a funny anecdote, we always say that we started venture capital a bit by fate and destiny. So Saeed Amidi, the CEO of our company, is still Iranian family that flew Iran when the religious political moments got tough. They came over to the States, and the first thing they did was buying real estate, and they started a co-working space back in the 80s, early 90s. Today, everyone knows what a co-working space is. The funny thing is some of the first tenants were Larry and Sergey with 6 employees with an idea called Google, and we thought, this could be interesting. We did an exchange of lease for equity, rent for equity, and that proved to be a very strong, of course, exit a few years down the road. And after that, we had Dropbox, PayPal, and other strong unicorns being our tenants. So we call it the Lucky Building.
Wow, an amazing lineup of companies that you worked with. Congratulations. So you said you are an American company, family grown, etc. You have presence in Europe.
Yes.
The Europe ecosystem is very fragmented.
Yes.
It's very diverse. It's
Yes.
different in Spain than it is in the Baltics, than it is in Greece or Romania, etc. How do you build from the best practice you have, the experience, the learnings you have from US into the European ecosystems?
Very much. So from the 67 offices we have, half of them are in what we called EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, but the vast majority are in Europe. We bring, let's say, the good style from the States, so we're quick, we're direct, we're pro-entrepreneur, so this means entrepreneurs first. Just to make it clear, all our programs are equity-free. We don't expect any startup to give us whatever. On the contrary, we're very supportive of the ecosystem, per se the startups, and the rest comes. So in this sense, in Europe, we have different programs around different industries. We make the most sure so we don't go by silos, as you were saying, because what may work in Germany may not work in Spain, or what we do in the UK may not resonate in Greece. In this sense, the beauty of plug and play, or how we frame it, is, for example, I'm going to put an example. We have a very strong mobility program in Germany, in Stuttgart, which is a remarkable success for us. It's coming to 10 years now. It's a state-of-the-art program called Startup Autobahn. You're all invited. It's in 2 weeks' time in Stuttgart. This program, which started with public funding, has zero income from the public administration today. We have 23 multinationals from across the world that come to Stuttgart to learn and witness what's going on. Of those 23 multinationals, I have to say less than 10 are from Germany. So we managed to bring strong corporations from different continents. They want to witness how that car of the future is going to be in 15, 20 years. And speaking of that, many of the cool gadgets that we all use in our nice cars today came from startups that went through our program in the first batches. The corporates did the pilot.
Yes.
They fell in love. They bought the startup. And then they, of course, scaled it up. So that's a very strong example for us. So we want to bring the best practices, localize them. We don't do copy-paste programs. And we speak a lot with the local ecosystem to make sure what resonates in each country, what are the main pillars and industries, and the rest is how we roll.
So think globally, act locally, in a sense.
Very much.
Bringing the local relevancy.
Yes, because, for example, I'm going to pick this example again. A startup that may go for a program in mobility in Stuttgart, we have 7 more offices doing mobility programs. So we have a very powerful tool called Playbook, where we register all the startups we engage. We have 250 venture analysts. These guys are investors. They have a KPI. They need to meet startups every single day around the world, track them, register them in our software. So the following day, if one of our colleagues, let's say tomorrow is a Saturday, but on Monday they wake up in Tokyo, and one of our strongest partners are looking for something specifically, maybe one of our venture colleagues registered it well, and he can get a very powerful report with a few clicks. By this, what I'm saying is we see some of our startups that went for Stuttgart year 3, Tokyo year 4, and Detroit year 5. So that's also part of the beauty of think local, but also think big. And then we do our best for the good startups, obviously, to help them scale up.
So you gave me some good examples about startups that developed their business, grew out of your accelerators and programs. Your reputation is that you have an eye, let's say, for startups, for, let's say, promising startups at the very early stages. What are the criteria you use to select the startups you invest with your programs in, and how do you work with them during your programs?
Yeah. So I will distinguish first our own family evergreen fund, the one we do around 250 investments a year, so pretty much one per working day. That has one of our own investment thesis versus our programs, which many of them have investment vehicles attached and have different LPs, different investment priorities. The underlier is we, of course, look first to the team. We look at their backgrounds, experience, are they or not serial entrepreneurs, have they worked at whatever companies they've worked for, etc. Second, the technology, because I told you we have 250 analysts across the world. These analysts, just for information, they're not financial, background guys. We have biotechnologists, pharmacists, architects, you name it, and then it's our duty to teach them and groom them as good investors. So the second point is understanding the technology in a very specific industry. That's also the value that we bring to the startup. And last but not least, as I said already a few times, scale up quick. When we see that the team is correct, that the technology indeed is something meaningful, and that with our expertise and global network, we can scale fast. We double down pretty fast, and we bring our friends. So we work with pretty much all the big VCs, mid-sized VCs, or any VCs in the room. It will be my pleasure to meet you. We work with serious people. Since our checks are 150K, that won't take the startup very long. But we do bring, let's say, our bigger friends from the States or elsewhere, which help us cover the rounds.
So it's not just plug and play. It's an ecosystem around plug and play. It's your friends, as you say. What would be your advice for this ecosystem that we are here today?
Sure.
What kind of partnerships do we need to build to make sure that the local innovators are ready and have this opportunity to scale?
Yes, so we are here. I'm here with my colleague Alfredo, which I hope he's somewhere here in the audience. We're here, and we've been coming over the last couple of years to see how can we support the Hellenic ecosystem. So we're speaking with all the large corporates that you guys have here in this wonderful country. We're speaking with the government as well, because the ideal program, just to clear the situation, we do private, public, and hybrid programs. The one we're foreseeing here would be more in a hybrid mode. So hopefully the government can chip in and help basically support that startups that go through a hypothetical program, and then the corporates as well. So for us, in aligning expectations is the very first thing. With this being said, education is critical. We always say that we're doing a little bit of evangelization, because big companies, they're heavy, they're maybe not the fastest. Even if they have very strong IT or tech teams, they need to convince their boards, C-level, you name it, because at the end of the day, it's triggering something different for them. It maybe for some of the corporates, it's uncharted waters. Maybe they've never tried doing anything with a startup, or what is a pilot, how much time is it going to take. It's not just about money or working with a startup. It's a mentality shift. That's also what we push a lot with these programs. So indirectly, we're doing a bit of a lobby for the ecosystem. Eventually, these things happen, because that's why we do over 100 of these globally today. And we extend them. So it's not that we come, we do a one-year thing, and then we're off. We want them to resonate with the ecosystem. And when we have public or private funding, I can tell you the KPIs are very similar. Everyone wants pilots to happen, commercial agreements. The government will be expecting employment and high-quality employment. Jobs, of course, and obviously the private sector, you can imagine, right? They want a return, and they want the return as fast as possible. So we need to align also with this
and
education.
Lower risk, I would say. Lower
the
risk.
100%, right? 100%. That's where we do our best. We spend a lot of time with business units from distinguished corporations to make them sure that they know what's coming up, and that's how it goes.
You spoke earlier that technology is one area that you focus a lot when selecting startups for your programs. And we all understand that AI now is reshaping industries, is reshaping what we know about work and business today all over the world. You recently published an AI trends report, Enterprise AI Trends Report. Can you share a bit of a outline of the key trends you see and the use cases that have been successful with your ecosystem?
100%. That report is open to anyone, by the way. You just need to register with your email and you'll get it in a few seconds. But to keep it short and simple, the report is basically enhancing a very comprehensive report we've developed over the last year and a half. So it's very thorough on a very ongoing topic. As a disclaimer, first of all, from our 250 investments of last year, 90% had AI on the pitch deck, and that's going to be growing forever. We've been investing on AI over the last decade, and basically to come back to your question, what we're seeing is, thanks to AI, it's streamlining all the process, guys, as you can imagine. So what it used to be before, I need to develop my MVP, what's going on, I need further technical support from a third party. Today, there's very cool things out there. You can basically shorten a development of a software that used to be 6 to 12 months in 6 to 12 weeks, or even faster, depending on how good you're at it. With this, obviously, the go-to-market comes in the same line. So we're seeing very, very complex things that behind the scenes are super, super cool, and we're really assisting top-notch corporations in this sense. I can tell you confidentially in this room, I cannot disclose their names, but you can figure it out because we work with two of the largest insurance companies in Switzerland, and we have two very comprehensive programs with them. Some of the startups we've done for them are in that report, and we're seeing how, for example, anyone in this room probably has some sort of insurance program, whether it's health program, your car, your apartment. We all know how many documents you need to sign, review, lengthy documents. What many people don't figure out is these companies, which also have thousands of employees, need to manage, custody these documents for minimum 5 to 10 years by the different law of each country. And today, there is super powerful solutions that in a blink of an eye, we're seeing some of our customers review millions of documents in a couple of days, which was, So the RegTech area, to your question, it falls very strongly on the report. And I can also add on, not just besides the report, one of our recent investments it's a startup coincidentally from Spain called Neural Trust from Barcelona. They claim to be one of the first Gov AI, governance AI solutions. And it's very powerful because it's really helping middle large companies, stock listed companies, review and decipher all the different threats they may have around all their operations, and doing very cool reports on how they should be focusing their IT teams to pay closer attention, because we didn't mention deep tech / cybersecurity is a very hot topic in the States and of course in Europe.
And in Europe, I have to say, in this region as well, cybersecurity is very hot.
100%.
So 2 pieces of advice, and then we can take a couple of questions from the audience. One to entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs that are listening to us today. What would be your number 1 advice for those that are looking to build their AI native applications?
Yes, so AI is not just a real hype, it's a reality. As I mentioned, we've been investing in AI for more than 10 years. We try to basically clear the wheat from the shaft because there's a little bit of, perhaps people taking advantage of it. My advice to founders is always very straightforward. First, focus on real problems. You can start locally and try to identify a real problem. Don't get too much on the shiny, techie thing that you want to make it sexy and appealing, because that will come when you grow and you get a nice marketing team. Look into a real tech solution. In the same line, go to the very core by looking into the data ownership and the data governance. Because when you eventually grow the business and you start having customers, that's going to be paramount. And when you speak about AI, because it was your question, that's the dilemma. How do I custody the AI side that my potential investors or customers or users are going to be figuring out? Because all the decks that we receive are on AI. I can tell you our legal team, we see many decks every day. They go to the legal disclaimer on how they run the data, where it comes from, and how they manage it. So my advice for an AI entrepreneur today would be stick to a problem, be honest on, not be honest, sorry, but focus very well on the, let's say, compliance side of the data, the ownership, and then think local, as you said before, but to be honest, grow fast. You need to grow fast today.
Grow fast.
Which is an issue, to be honest. You were saying, how do we find the ecosystem? So I cover Spain, Italy, Greece. There's many resemblances, as you can imagine. It's an issue in the sense that we all want to AI. What can we do? What can we do? Be cautious, because there's different routes around it. And despite living in a territory which is mainly SMEs, also SMEs, as I was telling you before, are starting to double down in AI because they can. And that's also with the change of mentality that I was telling you before.
I like that you focused on the problem solving, because, there's a hype around AI, as you said, the shiny applications that don't always find the customers to buy. And your advice to investors looking to invest in entrepreneurs and companies right now that are implementing AI?
100%. So in line with what I advise for our own money, it's what we tell our friends. So thorough background checks on the team. If it comes to AI, thorough understanding on the data ownership, 100% important, because without that, you may suffer down the road if you're not extremely transparent. And then last but not least, there's very cool ways to scale up. When we speak about agentic architecture on the programs, how we're unlocking solutions for digital decision-making systematic approaches, that's the way, and there's very cool things happening. But the advice to the investors, which is we are an investor ourselves, as I said, is basically do very well your due diligence. If you go into projects, guys, it's this is venture capital, so you're going to be stuck with that partner, and we call them partners, even to our startups, because we see it kind of like a marriage. We're going to be with them 5, 7, 10 years, so it's not like other type of investments with maybe you can get a return in 1 or 2 years. This is not the case. Maybe it's the case if you hit luck, but it happens very seldomly.
Borja, we're out of time, but it was very valuable, I hope, for our audience. Thank you very much for coming to Athens. Thank you for joining us in Panathēnea, and looking forward to see more of Plug and Play in Greece and in Southeast Europe in the future, in the near future.
The pleasure is ours. We're very excited. Congratulations again to the Panathēnea organization team, and we'll definitely hope to see you here next year. That will be a very good sign.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.